Welcome back. Ms. Nagpal, you were saying something before we go to the break.
I just want to say that just because job centres are now putting up posters and advertising food banks, that is not the reason for the increased use of food banks. The increased use of food banks is because people need those food banks because they are desperate. They haven't got enough food to feed their families.
Okay.
It's supply and demand. It's basic economics.
Okay. Mr. Patel wants to
I just want to come back to the point on immigration. Net immigration from outside EU has actually reduced. That's a fact. The net immigration from outside EU has reduced. The numbers have increased from EU into the country purely for the reason the economy is strong, the European economies have gone weak. So in free trade, we have freedom of movement and we have got freedom of employment. And that's the reason why we've got an increase in numbers of people coming from Italy, from Spain, from Greece. That is the reason why it's gone up. But the Labour Party and the Liberal Party do not want to even discuss controls of immigration or having any tiers. The Conservative Party has made it very clear it will give that choice.
Sir? Do you want a question to Labour or to the Lib Dem?
Yes.
Who do
So
you want to ask?
the choice to both of you, both parties, are: will you support a referendum on EU?
Okay, very good question. Who wants to respond first? The Labour? Okay. Natasha, you want to respond?
I think both parties, Labour and Liberal Democrats, are equal on that. Europe's been good for the economy. Many of the jobs that companies that exist here are international companies that export right across Europe. And the other thing is immigration has been made a scapegoat here. Immigrants have actually benefited this country. Even European immigrants, although the Labour Party got it wrong, they don't put the figure like Germany did, and they don't follow the letter. But in all, immigration in Europe, every one of us benefits to £1 better off than if we don't have EU immigration, because
Will
they're
you go
young.
for a referendum, sir?
They're young. On the EU, we've made it clear we're pro-European. If it's something's benefit us, if it benefits the people of Britain, let's go for it, and
Will
let's
you go
not
for a
make
referendum?
European a scapegoat. I think this, if need be, if the power of Britain is going down, the EU wants to take more power from us. It's only democracy should prevail, and we should have a referendum. But if the power is taken away from
Thank you.
The Labour Party's always been the party of internationalism. We've always taken a huge amount of pride in that. And part of that is being part of Europe. And so we see ourselves as part of the wider world. It's a global village. It's no longer just us little island in the middle of nowhere telling people what to do. It's not a colonial situation. It's a give and take, equal relationship. As a business relationship, we also have lots of development happening in our rural areas, which are coming from EU initiatives, and there's a lot of trade coming through from there. So we are quite reliant on EU, and we have a really healthy relationship. So why would we put that into jeopardy by pulling out? I find that absolutely, completely. That's why I really don't understand the UKIP stance on this at all.
So you are in favour of that. Yes, Mr. Shafiq, you have a question to the Lib Dem.
Oh yeah, first Mahmood, I think the question was asked by my learned friend that how the people will believe that you will keep your promises after the election. I think you answered that question by saying we have only 20% off in the government,
Share
and then there was 80%. And how you can persuade the people, today we are here, why the people should vote you. How you can persuade when your answer is you have only 20% and the 80% is the Tories. And what we look at in the polls, you're going to have a 10% in the future. That's the poll says. So how you can persuade the people that they should vote for you when you're going to have only share of 10 to 20%. So
well, I think
that share, let me add, that share is very, very essential. If that share is out of the market, they can't run the government.
I think you're absolutely right.
No,
Ash.
the question is how you can keep your promises with the people that you made with the 10 or 20% shares.
We
which
can
you have
only
not-
do that if the people go out, they care about the education, the employment, the youth, and vote Liberal Democrat. So instead of 20, we have 40, 50, 60. We know it's going to be a coalition. If these two parties will tell you it's not, but we know the polls and everybody's saying that. What do you want? Do you want Tory and UKIP coalition? Is that really going to benefit Britain by taking the target? Or do you want the Liberal Democrats back in position? Well, your leader has never denied it. They will do not go in coalition with the UKIP. He hasn't denied it.
Let him answer.
David Cameron has made it very clear that he is not going to have any coalition with the UKIP. In fact, when he was asked day before yesterday, he said there won't be even one UKIP member in Parliament.
Okay, so will you consider the Lib Dem again as a government partner?
And how many shares would you give them this time?
Well, it depends on the seats, how many seats they have.
Yeah, ultimately, I think I have to agree with my colleague here. At the end of the day, it is you, the voter, who will decide. It's you, the voter, who will decide. If you mandate us, it is as politicians, that's what you want us to do. So we have to accommodate what
Mr.
your
Bill,
wishes
if you
are.
don't win
But
more
if
20
we don't,
seats, then how are you
yes.
going to form the government?
Yeah, so if we don't, as it stands, we still believe we will get the 23 seats we
Well,
need.
if you don't, then?
We are not in that space. We are very clear we will get those 23 seats.
Okay.
And the Prime Minister has said again and again during all the hustings up until now.
Okay. Dr. Aisha, they are very confident. They are making a
Well,
single
I find
majority
it
government.
incredulous because I work on a university campus, and I can tell you outright that the young people feel absolutely outraged by the U-turn in the tuition fees that happened with the Lib Dem. How can we trust you with anything? People actually gave you that mandate last time to actually moderate the government, and people were quite pleased that actually that you would rein in some of those Tory hardline policies and make those work. But we seem to be further down the road to austerity and further down the road to poverty than we've ever been before. As a councillor, I see it firsthand. I see those young people on a daily basis. I see those people accessing food banks on a daily basis. These are working people. These are people with jobs. Never, ever, and I might not be as old as you, but I've never, ever seen anything like it on the ground. People out there are hurting, and you were supposed to be helping, and that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have one question for the Labour Party before you ask something. If you need a partner to form a government, will you consider the Lib Dem?
They would really have to up their game, and we'd really have to be very desperate. I'm hoping that the British electorate are far more intelligent than that and will actually pick a majority
Very
government.
diplomatic answer. Yes.
Well, I think the British public saw through the arrogancy of both of the larger parties, and more people are starting to vote for the smaller parties because you've got Google, you've got research. People can go in now, go libdem.org.uk and research the manifesto quite easily. As for I absolutely agree with you, it's a very hard time. This is why when that letter was disclosed about there's no money in the treasury, good luck, my blood ran cold. This is supposed to be a socialist party. Didn't I ever think of how he's going to run the schools, how he's going to run the hospitals, how he's going to create employment? That's from a party that says it's socialist, and yet it found it funny and a joke that there was no money in the treasury to pay for our doctors and nurses. That's not a socialist party I remember, and I'm an ex-Labour. I remember the true Labour Party that stood for the people and the working class.
Okay.
I don't find that the Lib Dem would be working for the working classes these days, so I beg to differ on that point completely. As for the note in the Treasury, that's up to Liam Byrne to explain why he did that.
He said he found it funny.
Well,
That's one of your ministers.
he was obviously having a moment there, which I think many of your ministers have had several moments
Name one.
which would level up with that.
Well, let's go to the audience, the panelists. What they
My question is to everyone to respond on that.
Okay.
Everyone says that regarding the immigration, it's not just the number games that we have to reduce the immigration 1 million or 2 million or 3 million. If we are talking about if you do the research, the immigrants have put a lot for this country. Now, if we are saying that our economy is growing, we need professional, we need entrepreneur. Now, there isn't any solid plans for any of the party at the moment that how we are going to deal with that issues, because in NHS we have spent a lot of money to have different departments, but there is no one to run that department because we haven't got that professional people. So we can't just say that this is just a number game to say 1 million, okay, that's enough. No, we need to have a solid plans regarding the European immigration, regarding the other immigration, not just the number game. And I will agree, like, you know, to some extent with the Labour, but they are not even clear. They haven't got a clear plan. They are saying that this is not the number game, but they didn't come up with a clear plan what they are going to do with it.
Okay, that's question to everyone. Let's take the one question to every panelist. And
yeah, because as I'm looking, this all representative who are here, they looks like Asian community. So what's your policy for the Asian people? Because your main voters are the Asian people. If one Asian man go for the job, here they don't accept his driving license. Either he's from India, either he's from Pakistan. But one person, he came from Bulgaria or from any Eastern European country, he can get a job and they accept his driving license. Even Pakistan has the same driving, right and driving in the UK. So my question to the Labour, can you do something for the Asian people, like Pakistani and Indian people, if they want to do driving job? Or one more thing, that they put us, our people, when they come here legal, I'm not talking about asylums, oh, you need to bring 5 years history, you don't have a 5 years history, work history. But same thing, when anybody came from the Eastern European country, first day they came, second day they are on the job. Okay. So can you do something for Asian people?
Their opinion, and Mr. Shafiq have a question.
Yes, my question is to all three parties present here, and because my question is related to both the immigration and education is interjoined, you know, for the international students, and I haven't seen any single party within the last few years up until now they are doing anything for the students who come from abroad to study here. What happened into their studies when they are into their studies are 8 months, 2 months, 1 month even, or even close to the end of their degree, the college run off, they lose their tuition fees they paid, and there is nothing going on from the government side or any of the parties present here. They have nothing mentioned about that, what they will do about those dummy colleges, and to compensate that those individuals who came to study in such a good country where the education system is very good. Okay. So it's affecting the education, it's affecting it's giving the bad image of the country to the international world, that the students going there and they are the victim of the fraud of those colleges that's being run in United Kingdom.
Thank
so
you, Mr. Shafiq.
If anybody
who's
can
going
answer
to
on
answer
that.
the first question, Tory part?
Yeah. I think actually all the questions you've asked actually
just summarize it.
Are
Be brief, please.
are interrelated. So you're right. Under the work permit system we have from international employees, actually that has increased under the work permit, under the work permit, to a point where the largest work permit that's been given out in the last 3 years has been from India, and it just shows the level of technical skills that we've needed here, the right sort of requirement. So in that particular case, we've got the success of Jaguar, an Indian company, Tata company, which is now the biggest private employer in the UK. A strong economy will allow a much better quality, even where we have the need in NHS to have more doctors. But without a strong economy, we can't have any sort of any staying here. So we've got the same issue with students. Yes, they are graduating, but without a strong economy, there is no jobs for them. So at the end of the day, it has to be the strong economy. Yes. And similarly,
Mr. Nawab's question.
Sir, 1 minute. My question is not about the job. My question is, those students, they are the victim of the fraud of the colleges in the United Kingdom. Once they're going to complete their studies, the college run off and they lose all the money they paid to the college, and at the end they don't have the degree in their hand, and they spend their 3 years.
You are 100% correct, and that's why 1,800 bogus colleges, which the previous Labour Party turned a complete blind eye to, we closed them down. We've closed those.
Sorry, 1 minute.
If I can respond to the question, I think
1 minute. Yes. I'm not talking about the government is taking the action to close down the colleges. And how about the students who
What
who
you
are
have
the
done,
victims,
what
and
compensation
they
they
lost
got.
about their 30,000 pound if somebody is coming for 3 years degree, and their tuition fees is for the international students about 11,000 pound a year. He spent 33,000 on the tuition fee, and then on the top of the living cost about 10,000 a year, he ended up with 60,000 pound
Yeah.
in debts for 3 years and have nothing in his hand, neither the degree nor the future.
Very good, you close the bogus colleges.
we-
But what about the victims?
We had
Or
number
you
of
recover
cases.
that fee from the colleges for those victims.
We had number of cases in Southall where the students actually came to the consular surgeries, and it is tragic because those students, they are paid thousands of pounds and with good intention, in good faith, that they are going to a proper legal college, and those colleges have been closed with no recourse to the student, and that
I
is
think we should-
something which need to be looked at. And at the moment, the colleges has been closed, and those students have got no one to turn to, and all they are doing is running from pillar to
Okay,
post,
Mr.
and
Singh,
that is a
we-
very serious
Mr.
issue,
Singh, we should
which
have
the
some-
incoming government
Mr.
will have
Singh,
to look.
we should have some input from Dr. Aisha because she is related to education. But before she say, we have to take a short commercial break, and we take a break. Please stay with us.